All right, we're back. We're back. Let those notifications go out. I got y'all emails, and I'm going to get back to you as soon as possible. Um, but yes, we are back. You know, the Lord has us take breaks. That's okay. We're allowed to take breaks. I want y'all to know that, yeah, let those notifications go out. I'm going to do our usual check here. Yeah, there we go. And yes, it is ponytail season for a little while. So yeah, I asked God, I said, what do they need to be reminded of? Okay. And because he reminded me. So now I'm passing it along to you all. Some of y'all need this. About not trying to rush the process. Remember something. It's all part of unlearning the indoctrination of impatience. Because we cannot try and rush the healing process. We are very adamant here in this ministry about taking the time and space that you need. You don't need to answer to nobody. You take the time and the space that you need. You get right with God. Spend more time with him. That's what he's looking for. He wants you to spend more time with him. Because he wants to show you who you are. Through that transformation. But like I said in the description below, the healing is going to take place first. That's going to start. You're going to get over that rainbow to the other side. Now, somewhere towards the other side of the rainbow, that transformation might start to kick in because God will introduce you to your purpose. Somewhere, okay? Right. When you get past the halfway mark, is usually when God will step in and go, okay, I'm going to introduce you. Now, some of us were introduced to part of our purpose years ago. We just didn't know that's what it was yet. And so I want to remind y'all of looking at the small stuff. Remember, the small details can tell the biggest story. It's so true. That's why detectives and things out here will tell us everything you can remember, even the smallest detail, because the smallest detail, and this is forensics talking, you all, because the smallest detail can tell a story. Oh, it can be the biggest dot connector, something that small. It can be the dot connector that you need for that closure. See, you're only going to get closure from all of this traumatization by the narcissist. You're only going to get closure from God. And that's all the closure you need. Because they're not ever going to give us closure. No. That the evildoers will never give us closure. Only God can do that. And so when he awakens us to all of that, and he starts to reveal more of his spiritual truth, we start to learn, oh, we don't need this. We don't need that. The world tries to sell, oh, let me tell y'all something. Yeah, I was walking down the aisle with all these cleaning solution. And all I could smell was chemicals. And I thought, yeah. Anywho, I am Michelle Dickey, your host for CHA Let's Just Chat Show, streaming on the YouTube channel Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance, where trauma healing and spiritual growth are front and center while combating radio frequency for healthier living. And so that's it. We are a growing community of spiritual warriors for Christ. Okay? So if you are new to this channel, welcome. And I am Michelle Dickey, consultant, master consultant, that is, coach, trauma specialist, minister, and author. And founder of Consulting for Heightened Awareness, CHA, a non-denominational spiritual ministry, meaning Holy Spirit led. And so as a growing community of spiritual warriors for Christ, that's what, it's all about getting closer to God, letting God Oh, yeah, shape and mold us. That's that transformation. That's part of it. Okay, to shape and mold us into the best version of ourselves that He needs us to be and that He created us to be. So if you've been looking for a community that knows what's going on with the game of narcissism on the world stage, and you want to heal and grow, you're at the right place at the right time, because everything is always on God's time. Galatians 4, verse 2, always at the appointed time of the Father. Okay? So, welcome. We're happy to have you with us on this journey in the spiritual awakening in God's reality. So, we cannot rush the process. Okay? And I know that it feels like it's just snail crawling sometimes. And that's okay. Because we also know that when we embark on something like a detox journey, we're definitely not going to want to rush that. And know how we're big on, you don't want to force what's going to happen naturally either. Remember, God is a miracle worker. I trust and believe that. He is a miracle worker. And I will share with you all that here's how we got to look at the layers of onion that get peeled back during the detox. And that's during you're healing from years of radio frequency manipulation and poisoning, right? And so bringing that autonomic nervous system into the present where it belongs. That's our inner child. And so we'll work to bring it to the present. And that's another healing, but it's a physical healing. You see, when we get to the other side of that rainbow and we've got that balance between the spiritual and the physical, that means we're able to maintain emotional regulation. And by doing that, you are reconnected in mind, body, and spirit. So like I say often, that mind, body, and spirit connection is emotionally, psychologically, and then obviously spiritually. Okay? But because the devil and the narcissist think that the battle we're in is physical, right? Because they're of the carnal mind. Chosen one. That's who we are. Spiritual warriors for Christ. We are a kingdom family of chosen one. Okay? Coming together. Iron sharpening iron. That's right. And we want to remember that God will take his time with certain things. Okay? He always takes his time, but there's going to be some things that he's just going to be like a little bit slower. He's going to say, take it a little bit slower on this one. And then he's like, okay, speed it up just a little bit over here, but not a whole lot. Being mindful and vigilant still of how we move and things like that. So for those of us on the detox journey, whenever you go through another surge, here's how I want you to change your thinking. Okay, don't think of it as, oh gosh, not another one. Okay, don't think of it that way. Think of it as God saying, okay, because what's happening as your circulation continues to improve is that your body is getting rid of air pockets that need to be gotten rid of, that have been hiding out while the ANS was numbed. Okay, so I want you to change your thinking. Okay, don't think of it as a negative thing when you go through another surge, which I call another layer. And so you want to think about, okay, that's God just going, you know how when you do, right, if you got to plunge the toilet sometimes, right? Okay, because it gets a little backed up or what have you. Well, think of it that way. This detox process, there's going to be those moments right before surge where God says, okay, we're a little bit back, not literally backed up back there. I'm just talking about a little backed up on some salt in certain areas. And God's like, okay, I need to hasten it. So you go through another surge. Think of it as God going, okay, I'm gonna plunge, okay? Gonna plunge, and then boom, and all of a sudden, the water starts to go down the drain, right? Okay, well, that's kind of how I'm looking at when we go through surges like that, because we're not being electrocuted. It's just we got a lot of salt on the inside of our bodies still. And so, right, as God is improving all of that to get the nutrients where they need to go, so that, that's right, so that you can heal faster, okay? But we don't have to do anything except stay vigilant and aware. Okay, stay vigilant and aware always, right? Okay, and for that reason, because God revealed to me that I didn't even realize we were about to go through another surge, another layer being peeled back. So I didn't even realize it. All right, and God restores quicker every single time we go through that. He literally does. So it was earlier today after I got back from the store picking up some of the fruit and things to make sushi with. So I can get back here and hunker down because we don't get all caught up in the world holiday and stuff. So we like to go and get what we need and then come in here and hunker down, let the crazy making go on while we continue to detox, heal in physical, and work. Yep, work for the kingdom. So yeah, hello, happy Thursday to everybody. Thank you. And Chris, I've got your email. I'm going to answer it, and that's not going to be a problem. Okay, not going to be a problem at all. All right, for us to do it, even if. Right, we got to move in silence with that. Okay, so that's right. We got to move in silence with that. I'm not going to make an announcement here. Move in silence. We're just going to do it. We're getting around that resistance. We know that the enemy's pulling the crap. Yeah, of course. So we fighting back in the spirit. We're going to get it done anyway. All right, so as we are surging, I want to change that thinking, okay? Because we can't rush that process. That's the thing. As our body is detoxing, we cannot rush it. I know you're not alone, because I've had my moments of wow, because we don't realize just how numbed our ANF was throughout our lives. Now we're getting a pretty good idea. And I'm like, whoa, okay, wow, and wow. It goes deep. And yeah, mind-blowing moments. But we want to change that thinking and think of it as God using a plunger on our circulatory system, because the salt in our body in certain places got a little bit backed up, and he just needs to plunge for a moment so that, right, you know how fast the water goes down the drain after you plunge a few times? Okay, well, think of a surge like that. Because I have experienced it, and I know those of you on this detox journey, as long as you are changing that thinking and don't focus on the negative side, look at the positive side, because it's a good reasoning for that happening. Because you're healing, right? Your circulation is returning to normal, and it's getting to a level where it's supposed to be, so that you can live a healthier life. And so you're going to go through that. Just think of it as God plunging your circulatory system. Because I'm here to tell you, every single time that has happened, right? Yeah, it's very brief. It feels like you're getting zapped, but you're not. It's just your body. Yeah, I say it's God. And so you start to feel the prickly, right? Again, that numbness starts to go away as it, right. And then it gets quicker and quicker. And then I know almost immediately I start to experience more air pockets being released. So that's why I look at the positive side, because I'm like, okay, so it isn't anything that we're not familiar with at this point now. For those of you who are just starting the detox process, keep going, because the surges are a normal part of the process. That's why I'm giving y'all a positive way of thinking. Journal it. Okay, a positive way of thinking about it, because you don't want to get tricked into dwelling on the fact that you went through another surge. You don't want to dwell on that. No, so you automatically want to retrain the brain to say, okay, you know what? That was God using a plunger. Okay, he needed to plunge the circulation for a moment. He needed to plunge it so that we could get, right, a surge. I think of a wave, an ocean wave, how it comes up and over, and then, okay. So while it's forming the wave, that's God using the plunger. And so you go a little bit numb for a few minutes, right? And then when God moves that plunger, and now your circulation's kicking in again, everything's coming away, getting back to where it was before that surge, and then beyond. See, that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. God always, when he restored, he goes beyond where we were before the surge took place. It can be a small thing. It can be one of the smallest things, but don't ignore those small details. God will reveal them to you. And a really great one is a certain part of the body's normal muscle function returns. It can be that simple. So that's what you want. Okay? And right, because there might have been a particular part of your body where the muscle was not quite right in its operation yet. So when God starts plunging, right? Start plunging, and you go, right, because you're peeling back another layer, right? And then as that pushes, right, it'll start to push more air pockets out. And once the air pocket is out, guess what? Normal muscle function returns. Because normal muscle function promotes proper circulation. That's why you want that. And so we have to be aware of it. You see? It's very important. Just think of God plunging it for a moment, because he needed a little bit. He's like, you know what? I got this. And not only that, think of the part as Isaiah 60:22, God hastening it on his time. Yeah, this is another reason why we can't rush the process. All we need to do is change the way we think about it. Okay, because yeah, it is so easy for our psyche to get hung up on that surge. Because I know that's where I was at. Like, wow. Because it's wow moments. Because you don't realize just how deep the ANF goes until you start the detox. You're like, whoa, okay, wow, that's there. Woo! It's all part of getting the awareness about us, getting the awareness of our own body, the awareness of our biological body and how it operates. It's quite fascinating, I have to tell you. So, yep, there you go. Okay, the same, you get more releases on the air pockets for those. Yep, okay. Catch 22 on the muscle I know. It is a catch-22 because of, right. Right, because I believe it's on Patreon, right, where I talk about how the ANS. Yeah, I got your comment, Chris. I told y'all that, well, I don't know if I told everyone, but I am going to now, that, yeah, we just posted a video about how the ANS, if the tailbone muscle stay tense all the time, then that normal muscle function will do the opposite of what it's supposed to do. Oh, when God revealed that to me, I was like, ooh, that makes sense. So this is why the tips I have is just a little bit of diaper rash ointment. It doesn't take much. A little bit goes a long way. We found that out the hard way. Okay, and then also the ice pack. Okay, ice pack. If you if you are noticing that your tailbone muscles right there, if you can notice that they're more tense than they should be, yeah. Okay, so you want to watch out for that. And so you can do, yes, you want to massage that area as well. And I even do so, but simply by scratching the muscle part right there. Just massage. And an ice pack, little bit of diaper rash ointment, not a whole lot, just enough to relax the muscle there. But pay attention, okay? And the tip I have, God, instead of using your hand to put that ointment on, get you some disposable gloves. That'll be a lot easier to deal with, because if you get it in your hand, zinc is a metal salt, yes. But it's also a necessary element for muscle relaxation. Let that sink in, okay? So yeah, we get the catch-22. And so yes, the video where I go more in detail about how God revealed that to me on Patreon, yeah. Like a biking woman. Yeah, we didn't wear any makeup. Yep, on Patreon, we decided to give y'all a surprise that you can see. Right, and of course, because we've been taking our walks, and it's been nice and sunshiny. Well, yeah, my nose area got a little bit of sun. It's all good though, because we're not putting no chemicals on our face like that. I mean, I know we do when we wear makeup, but I'm talking about we don't wear. Yeah, we no longer put that lotion on. We stopped using that stuff shortly after going down the rabbit hole and finding out what that stuff really is. And what it's actually designed to do is the opposite. Right? And then also, if you think about sunblock, why in the world do you think the enemy wants to scare a bunch of people into using that sunblock, right? Block the sun so you don't get as much vitamin D. Hello? Learn the tricks of the enemy. Because that's one thing I noticed when the ex-cycle roommate was rigging up the EMF pollution inside the house and out back. Right. He was trying to prevent me from soaking up the sun. Right. He was trying to lower my vitamin D. They do that on a societal level as they manipulate the weather. This is why I gave y'all that portobello mushroom soup recipe. This is how we beat them at their own game. We're not even playing the game, but we know what to do so we can make sure our body gets the nutrients it needs, regardless of what they're doing out there with their dog and pony show on the world stage. No matter what they're doing, we can live healthier lives. That's our choice. And so, simple portobello mushroom soup, because a lot of times, especially around certain seasons, it's unfortunate, but the truth is, it's deliberate. So if you get some portobello mushroom, get them out of the store packaging, okay? And right, because I guarantee you, okay, I guarantee you that those were not put on the shelf 100% fresh. So the best thing to do with them, if you're not going to eat them up in a salad or on a snack tray right away, cook them. Go ahead and cook. And then you can make yourself a nice creamy type portobello mushroom soup. And I recommend a fresh herb also. Basil works great. Cilantro works great. Dillweed even works great. Okay, and so you parsley, all kinds of different fresh herbs. And I recommend fresh herbs, okay? Soak you some butter beans, some large lima bean. Get those cooked nice and soft. Add a little bit of garlic powder, onion powder, whatever your flavor is. Put that stuff in the blender with the mushroom and blend you a nice vitamin-rich and high in potassium superfood soup. Okay, there's how you do that. So, yes, hello, Michael. Welcome. Right. I know. That's why I said we went to the store today and we're gonna hunker down. We don't participate in the worldly stuff like that. Just right, there you go. Let the glove get the gunk. That's right. Yep. Cabbage and parsley or basil with this. Okay. That works. That works too. I mean, it all works. So yeah, I mean, however you want to modify whatever it is you've got, I highly encourage y'all that, when I give you these superfood recipes or soup recipes or what have you, they're modifiable. Yeah, they're modifiable. Absolutely. You can use what you have on hand. I highly encourage you to look at what you have on hand first before running out to the store. Now, you might have to go get some portobello mushrooms. Okay, I get that. And yes, you can use caps as well. Doesn't have to. Okay? So just keep that in mind. And, it's a very healthy, high potassium, low sodium fix there. So you get your vitamin D that way too. Now, of course, you can always take a vitamin D supplement. And I actually have a small bottle of the vitamin D supplement, but only taken as needed. So, for example, I don't have any mushroom soup, right? And I may not have other foods. There's foods that are rich in vitamin D, but it's not a very big list that I know of. So I do keep the supplement on hand because if they're going to play out there and have it gloomy for like a whole week, okay, I'm going to take one. You got that right. Okay, that's how we gauge that. I don't have to take one of those every single day, no. But if they're manipulating it out there to where and they usually will do that come towards the fall. You see, that's how the enemy works, right? In the spring and the summer. Yeah. Let it be nice and sunshiny as much as possible. Give them all vitamin D because it's vacation time, right? And the enemy wants what? Yeah, he wants your money. So, yeah, go ahead. Give them all the vitamin D they need so they can get out. Yeah, and other stuff so they can get on out and travel and go spend a bunch of money. Yeah. But then when it's time to go back home from vacation and you're approaching man season, fall, things start to cool down a little bit in the evening. Pay attention. Okay, pay attention because it's man season. All right, so I had to throw that in there for y'all because I'm learning it. I'm paying attention to what they do. But again, they can only manipulate that stuff to an extent. Just like these narcissists can only manipulate us to an extent till we finally catch on and we start to see through the deception. Absolutely. And so, yeah. Okay, so for anybody who needs this tip, if you're on the detox journey with us and you can come across yourself an ice pack. Remember, these are not meant to go right on the skin. You don't want to get an ice burn. So I've got a cloth. Okay, but you get something like this. This is supposed to stay cold up to 8 hours. But I'll tell you something. When you're detoxing and you've got excess salt on the inside of your body and that body heat is high, it ain't going to last no 8 hours. I guarantee you. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, and you can easily put that right there. Oh, yeah. And walk around with it. Because that exactly. Because I know in my case, that's a very, very important area to self-care. A lot. So, listen, I'm keeping it real with y'all. Okay? As we go through this journey together. We're on it. It's ongoing. So we don't want to rush the process. That's the point. Okay? So I have the 3 verses because transformation, listen, you all, transformation is ongoing as well. But you get to a point where things start to come together. You'll feel it because it'll be like, okay. For example, as we finally have our mission and movement in alignment, oh yeah, all of it in alignment, yeah. Okay. Ooh. Okay, they've actually done that. I have not added, I haven't added the any stock to it before, but that sounds like a decent idea, actually. A little more nutrients, like bone broth even. Ooh, bone broth is full of nutrition. Yes. Okay. So I'm checking the comments too, y'all. But you do want to keep in mind that transformation is going to take time. It has to take time. We can't force what's going to happen naturally anyway, right? Okay, so there we go. I highly encourage y'all, okay, every once in a while, it's going to happen. So excuse me in advance. And we're grateful that the Lord keeps those on the down low. And it really is, on this detox journey, it really is all about keeping the internal as cool as possible while doing so for the external. Because if you feel around your digestive area, because radio frequency interferes with proper digestion, obviously. And the enemy knows this. So, yep, bone broth for the extra nutrition. I highly encourage that. Yeah. So thank you for the tip. And we will continue bringing you all more cooking demos also on the Patreon channel. So for those who are interested, I just put up a very simple do-it-yourself at-home sushi making demo. And you can unlock access to that stuff and more for as little as $5 a month on Patreon. So we have this growing community of spiritual warriors for Christ. And so when we do something, we practice what we preach. So we bring you all the demos and other information and other God revelation and things like that. Oh, yeah. Okay. But the transformation. A lot of times, again, when you get past the halfway mark over that rainbow, that's when you'll start to notice some transformation starting to take place. It's a little bit. Because God will introduce you to your purpose. Remember, like I said in the very beginning of this video, that God introduces us to part of our purpose years in advance. We just don't know that's what it is yet at the time. So, right. So now, as God starts to give us those glimpses of our purpose, when we get past the halfway mark over that rainbow, getting that balance to the other side, get that balance, right? That emotional regulation, so we can maintain it. And right. And that's when more transformation really begins. The renewing of the mind, Romans 12, verse 2, right? Okay, we have to go through the renewing of the mind in order to be transformed into the best version God created us to be. So, if you have not seen the updated Welcome to CHA's YouTube channel video yet, I highly encourage y'all to do so. Because that short 4-minute and 4-second video has put everything into alignment. Tells you who we are, who I am, what we're about, the type of content on this channel. Everything, boom, into alignment. And you'll see what I'm talking about. That's why God put it on my spirit to do another Welcome to CHA's YouTube channel video. The most updated one yet. And he said, because now everything into better alignment. Because one thing get into better alignment, transformation starts a little quicker. Again, Isaiah 60:22, when God starts to hasten things on his time. And always, above all else, got to remember that anything meant for us is going to happen at God's appointed time. Galatians 4, verse 2. So there's your 3 Bible references for remembering to not try and rush the process, especially the healing. Now, you're going to go through the healing. Okay, that starts first, obviously. God awakened us. Oh my goodness, what is this? Who are these people? Right? Yeah, that initial shock. And then you realize, oh, wow. And then you start researching narcissism and narcissists. Start noticing more red flags of narcissism and the behaviors associated with it. You start to realize that, oh my, wow. And you're going through the trauma healing to get reconnected in mind, body, and spirit. So God's revealing things. And then they unleash crazy make-believe stuff out here in the world. All the ones who are living in fear get tricked into believing the lies and the deceit. And because they're living in fear, that's exactly what they will get, whatever it is they fear. This is why narcissists get abandoned, they get left behind, they get locked out, they get left out. Yeah, and we leave them to take each other out. Matthew 8, verse 22. Let the dead bury their dead. We get to that point during the transformation. We change. Chosen one, we change for the better. We're supposed to. Chosen one, change for the better. We're supposed to do that. We overcome trauma triggers. We overcome obstacles. We get around that resistance. So, it's as far as how long, I don't have the answer for that. Remember, I learned something because I asked God how long about something. He never answered me. And then I said one day, okay, then I guess it's going to have to take however long it takes. And he said, there you go. I went, oh, okay. No. So somebody needed that one right there, because I'm gonna tell you, I was asking him. I'm like, okay, how long on this? And silence. So I finally had to realize, well, I guess it's just gonna have to take however long it takes. There you go. I heard that small voice, and I was like, oh, that's what God needs you to realize, because we can't rush that process. We cannot rush the healing process. We cannot rush the transformation process. No. So like I said, there'll be an overlap. In the description below, you'll start the healing first. And once you get past the halfway mark of the rainbow, that transformation starts. Okay? Yeah, because God's going to introduce you, if he hasn't already, he's going to introduce you to your purpose. And then some. He may even introduce you to your new life with him, like he did with me on a business trip. He was introducing me to my new life with him. It was wonderful when I realized that's what he was doing. I said, okay. And sure enough, I am in a renovated hotel room that has been turned into a studio apartment. My new life with God. Who would have thought? By taking a business trip and staying in a hotel, God was introducing me to smaller space living. You see? And it's fine, because we have everything we need to keep going. We have everything we need, and God continues to provide. Glory be to God. You better trust and believe that, y'all. Just because you don't see something in the physical yet, it's coming. You just have to know it. Remember, we're told to pray like we've already received it. Never forget that. Very important. Okay, so there you go. Your purpose reveals slowly. And then when you do look back, you do that reflection, you start to see the things that we went through. Thank you, Michael, for sharing that, because that is very true. That when our purpose gets revealed to us, everything we've gone through in life just starts to make sense now. It starts to make sense as to why, because our purpose, we have a higher calling. Chosen ones have a higher calling on their lives. So, and so what we're doing, this ministry is my higher calling for you all, the God Spirit in you all, but first and foremost for the glory of God. And so because of that, we go through a lot. All that traumatization, our entire life. And so it makes sense why we went through what we went through. And we come to know Jesus on a much more intimate level because of all of it too. All of that happened to us, being made fun of, picked on, mocked, laughed at, abused. All that we went through, it makes sense. Because we now understand what Jesus went through. And the more we study the book of John, by the way, y'all, every Saturday around 4 p.m., God willing, okay, we are studying the book of John. And I have to tell you, the more immersed we are, the more we're learning about how Jesus was trying to get through to the Jews, that he's talking about the spiritual, not talking about the physical. But they don't have the ability to spiritually discern, because they don't understand Jesus' speech. They don't understand his parables. That's why I tell y'all that, right, Jezebel, now let me tell you something. The narcissists that do pop on in on this channel, okay, the narcissists who don't stay for long because, well, their demon spirit know that we're speaking the truth, but the human host has no idea. The human host will not understand the spiritual truth. No, the human host will not be able to comprehend, right, the way we break down the Word of God and expose the darkness as well, but we let the Holy Spirit interpret God's Word. And that's what we're supposed to do. The chosen ones have a higher calling on their life. And lo and behold, here we are. And so we go through, oh gosh, yeah. We go through a lot. We've all been through a lot. And I heard the Lord say, no more. And man, when I heard him say that, I was like, oh, glory be to God. When I woke up in that hospital bed after closing that Jezebel case study, it's one of the things I heard the Lord say, no more. He said, that's not going to happen again. Because we're not going to let it. You see? That's right. We're not going to let it happen again. I see the Jezebels around here. That creepy stalker dude. Oh. Let me share this here. Okay, that creepy stalker dude. Yeah, that's a Jezebel. Got clipped. He timed it just right as I was coming back to come back in here. And he timed it just right to come around that corner. As he goes by me, God told me, he said, just keep walking. He made this, oh yeah, it was like a evil sound that came out of his mouth. I heard it. And so I kept going forward. But you know you can tell when someone's staring at you in the back of your head, right? So I turned around. Boy, he was breaking his neck. He was trying like heck to see. Hey, we got a pitchfork out there. So thank you to the fellow warrior who told me how to remedy that as far as the pitchfork. Thank you. I appreciate that tip. And yeah, it's just fine. So anyhow, yeah, he kind of, see, this is how creepy these stalker narcissists can be. And I know he's a Jezebel. I can see it. Okay. Monitoring spirit. That's right. He's a monitoring spirit. Yep. The devil put another monitoring spirit on that bench out by the sidewalk every once in a while, wanting to try and gauge how we doing. Because remember, the Jezebel passed the baton to one another. So whether the human host of the Jezebel, no, he don't know what went down. The human host doesn't. But because he's a Jezebel, his demon spirit know exactly what happened to me. Because let me tell y'all something else. Okay, this is the and more part. That Jezebel case study, right, knew some things about me that I had never told her. That's not a coincidence. Yeah, some things in my life that I had never told her. But several things that she knew I had experienced in my life. Of course, she was claiming that she experienced those, but I cut off. Because I was like, yeah. So because the Jezebel who gave birth to me, those demon spirits passed the baton on to her. The demon spirits from her passed the baton on to the Jezebel in this area. That's why when I first got here, shortly after, that female Jezebel who got herself physically removed from the property, by the way, Yeah. Why do you think she tried? Right. And because it almost worked, this is why the devil's trying again, but he's using a male Jezebel this time to try and see if he can catch me off guard. See, that ain't going to happen. Because when y'all pay attention to how the enemy works, okay? Yeah, because that's all he's trying to do. He wants to see which one is mine so he can come unannounced, knocking at the door to try and catch me off guard. We're too aware. We're not going to fall for it. So, there you go. Pay attention to stuff like that, y'all. Chosen one. Pay attention. Okay, because, right, he's one of the Jezebel who definitely is an aging one, obviously, and supply is getting harder to come by. Remember that as well. As they get older, supply gets harder to come by. Because they can't, right, they cannot hold the facade for long. So, that's right. So we know exactly. Because we recognize patterns. Remember, I tell y'all that patterns tell a story. And so because the enemy can only use tactics and things that used to work in the past. So because that first Jezebel was able to get me to open the door, the devil with the demon of assumption is assuming that this male Jezebel would be able to do the same thing. I have boundaries and I have a rule. So, right, no, and we're not walking on eggshells because I know that the devil is nothing to fear. God tells us do not fear, and we armor up. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We armor up. Make sure we thank God every day for the food that he provides, okay? Be thankful. Remember, we're told that we're supposed to be thankful all the time. Not just one day a year. That's the worldly carnal stuff. We're to be thankful every day for what we do have. For the food that we eat. The food that God provides. For our nutrition. Okay, and healthier living. And so when we're aware, okay, when we are aware of what the enemy's trying to do, we recognize patterns. Because that's what's going on right now. Is that the creepy stalker dude, the only reason he knows what side or what building is because of my car. Because my car magnet, okay, my car magnet is similar to, let me show y'all something. It's a business card, but it's similar to this. Okay? It's similar to this, but it has my YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook handle on it. Okay? And they're on my side door. So when I'm out there wearing makeup, you can't mistake who that is. Right? Okay. So that's the only reason he knows, is because he saw my car. And because we're creatures of habit, God told me park somewhere else, but where I can still see it. See, chosen one's smart because God said, yeah, just change your parking spot because it first come, first serve. I don't have to park right outside all the time. Anyhow, yeah, because it's human nature to park relatively close to where your unit is, right? But see, I don't have to do that because I'm a walker. I don't mind walking. So, and I know that I'm not putting anybody else down. I know it's human nature. But because I need to switch things up, All right, that's what I'm talking about, y'all. We ain't putting nobody else down because I know it's human nature. Because when I first got here, yeah, it was cool to be able to park right outside the door. And then I realized I don't have to do that, so I back up. The spaces along the back there. But there's some more spaces over here on the other side that I can park there too. So we're not restricted to one particular parking spot. In fact, I was told they are first come, first serve anyhow, which is fair enough. Now we know that only a narcissist would want special treatment with parking spaces, right? Yeah. Okay. Now, yeah, with that being said, I recognize the pattern of how these, well, remember, narcissists study their target for a while. Remember that. And I know that the Jezebel case study, I want to say studied me roughly for about 7 months, give or take. And so as they get older, that right, because they don't have any more patience than that. Right? Okay. Yeah, they don't have any more patience than that. So 7 months is as long as they'll go before they make their move. So with creepy stalker dude, right, trying, because he wants to do what the other Jezebel did, because it worked. She was able to get me to open the door, not just once, but twice. Right, and we learned our lesson. And so the devil has no new tricks. So he's sending that Jezebel to see if, right, to see if he can catch me off guard. I want y'all to understand that. It's another reason why you don't want to rush the process, especially the transformation, because it takes time to catch these things. Very important point right there. Okay, it takes time to catch these things in real time. So you can catch the pattern and you can understand that, the only reason he sent the first Jezebel across my path when I first got here, right, is because the Jezebel case study, he thought that that was a success. One major epic fail right there on her part, obviously. Okay, but God reminded me it's because when I lived in a studio apartment, right after I left the angry narcissist, after I left him and I got into another relationship, if you will, that was the first time I remember seeing the eerie glazed over eye. Yeah, that Jezebel trance-like stare. I didn't know that's what it was at the time on the dude that I was dating. But it didn't take long at all for his true colors to show. Because here's the one thing that stood out, and I now know why, is because he asked me, when I moved in with him, he asked me if he should delete all of his online dating accounts. And I'm sitting here going, that's a really weird question to ask somebody that you're dating, don't you think? Yeah, I didn't know that was a red flag, but it did stand out to be a bit strange. And I really didn't have an answer. I was like, I guess. I mean, oh gosh, yeah. Ask the person that you're dating if they should delete their dating accounts. Online dating stuff. What do we know about narcissists? Exactly. And so did he delete them? Of course not. He's a narc. A Jezebel to boot. But I didn't know about the Jezebel at that time. So, right, after that one, yeah, that situation is also in Real Events of Narcissistic Abuse, by the way. Yep, because that's the one where the judge threw the book at him. Pretty much that's the one that got the lifetime restraining order. I had never heard of that until that day. Because he did. He got snotty and uppity with the judge. You don't do that. But he did. He showed his true colors in front of the judge. And so the judge basically said, if that person comes near me at all for the rest of my life, if he comes near me, all I got to do is call 911. They pick him up. Oh, he stayed away. He stays away. if he's still even alive. But who knows? And I don't care. As long as he stays away. But yeah, and I was like, dang. Didn't know that existed, but I guess it does when you get snotty with the judge. Yeah, I know, right? So, yeah. So, after that, because I ended up going to the Women's Crisis Center, and they helped me get a studio apartment. Okay, so let me finish this part for you all. All right, as I put this on the table. The reason the enemy sent that first Jezebel across my path, well, right, it was just a matter of time. She's needing some place to live. Narcissist, no one moves faster than a narcissist to needing a place to live. And so she thought she could weasel her way into roommating. No. Right. And so we want to remember. And the reason that the devil did that was not to see, partly to see if she could finish the job that the other Jezebel failed at. But it's because with that restraining order done and the Women's Crisis Center helped me get into a little studio apartment that was a little bit smaller than this. Well, actually, a good bit smaller than this place. But it was just what I needed, so I could continue to go to work, which was right around the corner. So it was very convenient. And that was a very, very, very in my life. It was. I basically hit rock bottom at that point in my life. But anyhow, and so what happened was, because I was still very, very naive, the neighbor, she tugged at my heartstring. And so I somewhat befriended her. And I would help her out where I could, food-wise. Not money-wise, but food-wise. And that's pretty much about it. And she was on a bunch of pills and stuff for this and for that. And I didn't know about narcissism, obviously, at that time. But she tugged at my heartstrings, and it worked. That's what this Jezebel tried to do shortly after I moved in here, giving me the sob story with the puppy dog eyes trying to tug at my heartstring. Because my empathy switch is not on. It stays in the neutral position in here, and it stays off when out there. It's just that simple. Because we learned that we are the ones that have control over our empathy. So, that's right. Not a wise move to be sassy. That's right. Right? You've seen Judge Judy. She don't play either. Exactly. Narcs are players who want to keep fresh supply on tap. That's it right there. They want supply all the time. And so I wanted to go ahead and share that with you all, because it's a pattern. And patterns tell a story. So I started to notice, okay, why did he want to know which unit is mine so badly? Because that female Jezebel, that was a neighbor, was able to get me to open the door. And almost, right? It almost worked. And so now he's sending that creepy stalker dude, who is a monitoring spirit, to try again, see if they can catch me off guard. And I want y'all to remember something. Whenever the devil doing this crazy making stuff like that again, over and over and over, just know that automatically know to thank God for that breakthrough, because it's either here or it's right around the corner. Yes, that can be through the detox. And God revealed to me what it is. That's right. Because every single time our next breakthrough is here or right around the corner, that's when the devil's going to try the same old that once worked in the past. This is why we got to keep paying attention and keep moving forward, but not forget the lesson, not forget the pattern, because those patterns, right, tell us the story of how predictable the devil becomes in his tactics. And so we learn not to let that work anymore. All right, everyone, there you have it for today. So don't hesitate to check out something on this channel. There's something for all y'all, wherever you're at in this spiritual awakening and God's reality. Okay, everyone? Sending love and light to all fellow warriors. Thank you for watching, listening, and for your support. Till next time, let's show some gratitude to the Heavenly Father, and you keep being you. In Jesus' name, amen.